Beast.
Beastlorion, welcome to the show, sir. What is happening?
Hey, Jimmy. Hey, Firestorm. It's great to
Welcome.
be on. Thank you guys for having me here.
Of course. How are you, man?
I'm good. You know, I had eggs and bacon breakfast with some coffee this morning. I'm all fired up. I'm ready to go.
Excellent.
Solid.
That's what we'd like to
Got
hear.
the caffeine, ready to
That's
go.
right.
I love it.
You honored us by joining the show. You are the first sort of community champion that we're bringing onto the show, if I'm not mistaken. We obviously had a lot of partners, a lot of other project folks, but you're one of the few people that has been, supporting the project for a little while. We actually have a few more that we would like to bring onto the show.
Definitely.
But we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for joining the show, and I'm totally looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. And thank you for everyone who's joining in the chat, too. I think we're going to have a lot of fun here.
Hell
Yes.
yeah, man. Shout out to all our new friends and viewers who are joining us, man. I see a lot of familiar faces or familiar names in the chat, and I see a lot of new friends, too. So shout out to you guys. We're excited about what Beast has been cooking, too, and we're here to see what's been going on. So, Beast, maybe you could give us a little background before we get into it. You know, you got your PFP is amazing, by the way, guys. If you don't know, it's Moses in a McDonald's uniform, killing it. We've talked about this before, but this is one of my favorite PFPs in the game, so it's great to see it actually on our screen. You know what I'm saying? But how did you initially get into crypto, man?
Well, first off, thank you on the PFP. Sorry I can't show my face. I prefer just to stay anonymous.
So we get it.
This version's got the glasses and the hair on it, too. So
Love it.
how did I get into crypto? So I've been in crypto since 2016. I got in pretty early when I went to a coding boot camp. That was like right when I was starting to code too. And one of my friends was working on something like RPC calls from a Bitcoin node. It was just like a pet project of his. This was like the second or third time I heard about Bitcoin at that point. And I think like once you hear about something 3 times from unrelated sources, and everyone, has a good impression of it, you need to start paying attention. I feel like life kind of hits you like that, where you just have to follow the leads that it gives you. And this is one of those instances where it's like, okay, I've heard about this 3 times and everyone's hyping it up. I need to look into it. And I was blown away because the second I started looking into it, and mostly it was because of the trading aspect. So like back in that day, we were looking at Poloniex as the main exchange.
Sure.
And the first time I ever looked at it, there was this shit coin called Expanse that went up like 4,000% in a single day while I was watching it.
Oh.
And I was like, well, yo, what? You mean if I had just bought this an hour ago, I could be up double? I mean, it was a kind of a gambling mindset at first. They have to lure you in somehow, right?
Right.
But since then, a lot of things have changed. I've started to become less of a trader per se and more of an investor. I like to find projects that I think have a good long-term potential to grow and to be successful. And they need to do something unique that the market needs. And Dexalot is a perfect example of this. It's going to revolutionize the liquidity provision and access on chain. So up until now, we've all been using the AMN dexes and the concentrated liquidity dexes and stuff like that. The problem with them is that you don't get to move your orders, or I guess there aren't even orders. You don't get to move your liquidity around so that you can avoid impermanent loss. And that has become a big issue. The other big issue is like concentrating your liquidity at the prices that you want it when you want it, so that for the swappers, the people who want to trade, they can get the best deal at the best price. And it's just been very difficult with the concentrated liquidity even. But now that we're moving to a CLOB version of like liquidity management, it's going to be much more efficient. And you can already see it with the spreads on Dexalot compared to the spreads on, say, competing AMM dexes like Pangolin or Trader Joe, or even the aggregators like Paraswap. Like the prices that you're getting on Dexalot are better most of the time. And so I'm very confident that once Dexalot with Simple Swap gets hooked up to these aggregators, it's going to be free flowing trade volume going through Dexalot. I'm really excited for that.
Awesome, man. Yeah, first of all, well said. That was like a masterful, like broadcast level seg that you just did between like your background, bringing it back to like, oh, just chef's kiss on that one, first of all. But man, really cool. Firestorm, sorry, you were going to jump in. I feel like I cut off your train of thought.
I just had a little bit of a parallel deja vu, if you will, with that story, because the first time I heard about Bitcoin was like 2013, I think. Mm-hmm. And it was in the context of a friend who was an FX swaps trader. I was, on the technology side, sort of managing a high frequency trading platform. And we used to hang out with this dude. And like one day I was like next to his desk. He's like, hey, look at this thing. It's at $100. I'm trading it. And I'm like, what is that? And his answer was, this is some internet thing that price goes up, right? Like, perfect meme level sort of sentence, which immediately put me off because I'm like, what? And you're putting money into that stuff? And then I left. And imagine, 2013 to now, a long time. And I think I couldn't do it as well as Beastlorion did, where, I heard it a couple of times, but I didn't, at the time at least, I didn't follow up on that lead. Obviously, later in, 2015, 2016, my story changed. But I thought it was a funny parallel right there. And how like our sort of paths diverged, even though we had sort of a similar experience.
Right.
But anyways, great to have you on the show, man. Like, we truly appreciate it. I kind of want to take a step back. You've been around longer than most people that are still here, right? And I kind of wanted to ask you, where do you think we are with respect to Web3 as a whole? And then where do you think we'll be in a couple of years? Just as a general perspective, because you've seen a couple of cycles already. It would be great to get your perspective on this.
Well, it's really hard to say, that's for sure. It seems like every couple of years the environment has totally changed. It was only in 2021, I think, or it was 2020 when the smart contract started becoming a big thing on Ethereum. And that was DeFi summer. So that was like our introduction to DeFi. And that's only been 2 years now. Or 3 years now. And it's evolved a lot, and it's been a wild ride. And it's kind of hard for me to say exactly what it's going to be like a few years from now, considering just how wild of a ride it's been up until now. I have an idea about where I would like things to go, but there's so many uncertainties. There's a lot of regulatory uncertainty. There's a lot of security uncertainty, like how can we stop these hacks from happening so that people's confidence in the space can grow. And I think these are things that need to be figured out over the next couple of years if we really want to reach mass adoption. Luckily, I like the approach that Avalanche is taking, which is like less of a focus on DeFi and more of a focus on gaming and community-based stuff, because it's less, there's less at risk. We can still enjoy all of the advantages of blockchain and Web3 without, putting a ton of money on the line all the time. And I think this is going to be very important for onboarding people. Stars Arena was a great example of something that didn't require you to have money to get in. And I think that set it apart from everything else pretty much. Like, you didn't have to be in Web3 already to use it. You could have just been a Twitter user and you click authorize and bam, you have an account on there. And then people are probably buying your token already, or your ticket. So like, you're injected straight into DeFi, whether you like it or not. The nice thing about that is that that person didn't, have anything that they had invested. So that I don't think they, while, the hack was really bad, I think that this is still very salvageable, and we're going to be back and stronger than ever, because a lot of people, most of the people I would say that got big on there and had a lot of fun, didn't invest anything into it from their own pockets. They got in there because they were a Twitter user and they saw it and they liked it and they got involved, and they didn't need to, connect that with crypto quite yet.
Fully agreed. Actually, I thought it was a very, very interesting experiment, right? If you think about it, almost all, wow, okay, all is an exaggeration, but a large amount of the communication, the community related stuff that's occurring is occurring through crypto, occurring through Twitter for crypto, right? And reality is, even though there's been some code that leaked recently about engagement and how the algorithm puts you up on people's feeds, like that algorithm can change anytime, and it's very difficult as a small account with not already a well-established following to get your voice heard. I think the biggest and probably the most impactful in my mind thing that Stars Arena did is that they moved the crypto conversation off from Twitter to their platform, where the algorithm isn't specifically showing you the stuff that it thinks is the thing that you need to see, right? The second aspect was the speculation aspect. You join, your friends buy your shares, and you sell your shares, and people have focused on the hack and all that stuff. And I get it. They made that so that it's fun. But in reality, I think the problem that's being solved, to me, was our ability to hear each other and see each other's content. Because now my Twitter is complete garbage. There's too many videos about stuff I don't want to see. And, Twitter actually controls what I see versus Stars Arena was a little bit more aligned with what I wanted to see. Obviously, the hack is unfortunate.
Yeah.
You mentioned something, actually. Let me ask you about that. You mentioned security. What is your sort of routine with respect to how you secure yourself? Because I think we need to emphasize this more, both on the application level and the individual level, given that Web3 is non-custodial. Like, what are the things that you would do as an end user when you're interacting with this ecosystem that you can suggest other people do as well?
Sure. Well, there's some basic things that I think everyone should do that I'm pretty sure most people still don't do, even though we constantly tell them to, which is if you're on DeFi and you're active on DeFi, you have money on chain and you're interacting with contracts, and let's say if you have a browser wallet at all, you don't want to be using it without a hardware wallet. Unless it's just for testing purposes or it's a very small amount of money. But if it's anything meaningful to you, you need to be using a hardware wallet. The reason is because if anyone gets access to your computer and they get access to your browser, they can get access to your wallet and then take your money off and send it wherever they want. And then it's gone. All right. So if you have a hardware wallet, even if they get access to your PC, even if they get access to your wallet more specifically your MetaMask or whatever other browser wallet you happen to be using, they won't get access to your funds. And then at least you can start to try to protect your computer from that point. But making sure that your funds stay in your wallet is the most important thing. And the hardware wallet is the easiest way to do that.
Absolutely. I just literally right before the show, I was on a Twitter space where interoperability and security was a big topic. I'm just going to add some stuff on the application layer, right? You as the user, you have the ultimate responsibility. You need to keep good sort of security hygiene and protect yourself. But I think, one of the big things that's missing and one of the big things that we're trying to drive towards as Dexalot is, the application level protection mechanisms, right? Like, revoking your unused smart contract permissions is one thing, but I think most projects out there also need to think about how do we mitigate risk for our end users? Stars Arena is a perfect example. I know they didn't expect to blow up that big. I know they didn't expect to acquire that many users that fast, but the applications, particularly the founders that are building the applications, need to build stuff with a security mindset. Right now, our industry, unfortunately, has to rely on a handful of audit service providers, which make audits very expensive and very slow. But again, if you neglect and if you actually succeed, you become a big target. When you become a big target, if you don't have everything buttoned up well, you lose money, right? The one actual positive thing I'm going to say about Stars Arena, by the way, it happened fairly quick. And the fact that it happened right at the beginning, I think allows the team to figure out the best path forward, like you said, and, recover. Like we've had Binance who actually got hacked in the early days, right? We've had a lot of projects that recover from it. So I think it's been a learning experience for them, and the fact that they found the path forward to make the users whole, etc., is a great thing. But again, I think we as the builders, we as the community members, need to hold all the projects accountable as well with respect to how they're building their stuff, right? Like, churning out things fast is great, but it should never be at the expense of the end users.
Yeah, 100%. And I agree with what you said about the hack happening early being a good thing. Okay, so it was just a very bad string of events, I guess, but also good. But I guess the issue is that like, if somebody is making a pet project, they launch a contract. Anyone can launch a contract on Avalanche or any other EVM, and they don't necessarily know if it's going to be popular right from the beginning, or people are even going to use it. And expecting everyone to get their contract audited before they launch it, I think, is unreasonable, because a lot of people are just doing it for fun, and it costs money to audit things.
100%, and it's expensive as well. I think as a project owner, like if the audit is pending or it's going to happen or whatnot, I think one of the things that's been discussed on Twitter is that the contracts weren't verified. If the contracts were verified, non-malicious actors could have spotted the problems faster. And the second thing I'm going to say is, I think as a project, you're making a trade-off, right? Launching fast, because this is a small opportunity window. We know that the SocialFi thing is blowing up right now. Then you have to let your end users know very prominently about the potential risks. So I think most users knew the risks involved with aping in first and asking questions later anyways. But again, if you actually lose customer funds, it ends up being FUD that you have to deal with later, and you're going to have a lot of sleepless nights after. Like, finding that balance is pretty hard. Yeah, I agree with you.
Well, when you have a situation like that, I mean, Stars Arena was very much a lightning in a bottle situation. It's like you guys said, they did not expect to onboard that many users in the time that they onboarded that many users. And, when you have those situations pop up, I mean, look, I was on Twitter in late 2007, early 2008 when it started, man. I remember that. You know what I mean? Stars Arena had the exact same energy as Twitter when it was starting. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was so excited. Everybody was having conversations, and it really felt like a home space for crypto users who have been on Twitter. And let's face it, Twitter is dog shit to use right now. But yeah, man, exactly what you guys are saying. Like, you can't reproduce those circumstances. So I think exactly it's good that it happened early, because we can kind of go right back to where we were. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So I want to change gears, if that's okay, Beast. Did you have anything to add there? I'm going to ask you something.
No, I think we covered it pretty well.
Perfect. So, before we go a little bit, and talk about more stuff, Dexalot, I want to ask you another question. Like, what use case or what application that you would love to have on Web3 that you don't have today? Because there's a lot of talk about real world assets, a lot of talk about this and that, but like, I almost want to say, as a heavy user, what application or what use case would you want that you would use today to exist on Web3?
Well, one of them we kind of just saw with Stars Arena, actually. And I'm not talking about the app, but rather the onboarding process, which is allowing people to use a Web3 product without having to have a wallet set up already. And I know this is kind of balancing security and trust between the user and whatever app they're using. But you can't expect, I would say like 95% of people at least are not going, you can't expect them to set up a wallet themselves before they start using a product. They're not going to do it. The barrier to entry is too high. So when they brought it down to a single click, hey, just click this button and you get your account and you get your wallet. That was amazing. And I want to see that from every, community or social project. So any of these gaming products that are coming out, if they can do the same thing, I know, again, it's a lot of responsibility, but maybe another use case perhaps would be some kind of multi-signature service where a custodian would be able to control the funds of a project with some security, at least, so that the project doesn't have to take that responsibility themselves to manage the keys of the users. But I do think that's where things are headed. Just seeing that and seeing how fast it played out, I think it makes a lot of sense. The other use case that I want to see that has been kind of tried, but I actually haven't really seen anyone take it to the next level, take it to the big time yet, is I want to be able to go to the gas station or the grocery store and pay with crypto. And I want it to be on chain. Eventually, I believe this is going to be how transactions are settled, but right now it's not that way. I think maybe that'll happen within, I thought it would have already happened already. Like if you had asked me 5 years ago, I would have said it would have happened already by now. But it seems like it's a little more complicated and the risk is a little high for the businesses to use this. But if hypothetically, if I go to the grocery store or gas station, I want to pay with crypto, it takes, and let's say it's on Avalanche, that's a 2-second transaction. That's faster than a credit card. It doesn't require me to hold an asset that I wouldn't otherwise want to hold. In this case, dollars. Like if I want to hold AVAX or I want to hold USDC or I want to hold Bitcoin or something like that, you can use it on Avalanche and the transaction takes 2 seconds. So if I could pay for stuff like that, that would be awesome. I love that.
Absolutely agreed. Particularly this last use case. Like I have seen businesses that individually had crypto-friendly owners and that said, we're going to accept crypto payments. And quite honestly, if you think about, let's sort of move, let's put AVAX and ETH, or other non-stable assets to the side. Circle is actually making it fairly easy for USDC or other stable coins to flow across businesses and individuals, right? You as a business today can go to Circle, apply, create a Circle account. It's really not that difficult, and it actually is quite fast. And I have seen, examples of small businesses that would accept USDC payments, and they can settle over the weekend. Like the money actually hits your wallet over the weekend, which I think is very cool. The challenge, I think, is the existing gatekeepers. Do they want you to use this mechanism as a payment capability? I don't know. And I think, regulation will make that somewhat clear in the near future, hopefully. The other thing that I also sometimes question is, okay, are there truly a lot of users who will pay for things with crypto, or are most of the users we have today mostly speculative investors, or are they degens or whatnot? So those are the things that every now and then I'll be like, it would be awesome if I can pay with USDC, but then I think about it, would I ever pay with my AVAX? I have no idea, But I agree with you. If it was 5 years ago, I would have said that this is going to happen by 5 years, and I was totally wrong.
Yeah, I could go on to have the flying cars by now too, guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. True. Terminators are here, though. That I tell you. Terminators are probably walking among us.
I think one lives on my street, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I could go on a whole tangent about how the world would be better if it wasn't running on inflationary fiat currency. People wouldn't feel pressured to purchase things that they don't need, or maybe they don't even want, but their money is going to be worth less next year, and using it now just makes sense. So a lot of people don't even have any savings. A lot of people are even in debt on their credit cards, and they're spending money as soon as they have it or before they even have it. And I think that if we go back to the time of hard money, in the sense that it's not being inflated unfairly, so if it is being inflated, then everyone gets to benefit equally from that. So in the case of blockchain, we have staking and we can earn rewards like that. But everyone can do it. That's the difference, because with fiat, the government gets to do it and they get to spend it where they want, and they get to spend it on the cultural movements that they want to. And I think that causes a lot of divide, and a lot of people feel like they're not being represented by that. And it is a form of stealing from the people too, because they have their own money and they might not want that money to be spent on those things, but they don't have a choice now because the government will print the money to dilute their own money. So,
I mean, this is the whole sort of launching premise of Bitcoin, right? As a decentralized value store that is non-inflationary. And, while I agree with this in general, there are like other things that, you know, the system benefited also, I'm going to say, like, you know, in the 50s or 40s in the US, for example, like, you know, a lot of people couldn't afford certain types of assets like houses, and mortgages allowed people's expected earnings to acquire assets. Initially, it was awesome because now you could own a home now and you could pay yourself partially to own the home, right? And it was an awesome thing. But then that gave way for banks to print these mortgages sort of irresponsibly. Now, people who shouldn't actually be trying to buy a home yet or ever started acquiring houses, taking on a lot of debt, which in turn created inflation of the prices of the assets, yada, yada. It's very, you know, self-feeding system. And reality is the fractional reserve system, I think, is one of those things that people are looking at and saying, bro, that's not too different than, you know, some of the stuff that we're seeing in crypto. And I think as new generational leaders come into place in governments, I think, you know, we may see some significant shifts in the system as it stands today. Because right now, you don't really have crypto-friendly governments. Some you know, some are smaller countries, non-superpower countries, maybe. But as new generations come into like the government roles, I think that's going to shift. That view is going to shift, and you know, we're going to get a little bit more sensible regulation in general.
Yeah,
Anyways,
I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
I actually don't have too much of an issue with the. I mean, the fractional reserve system is, I think, a little bit too risky. Maybe it shouldn't be 10%, but maybe more like 30% or 50% or something like that. But I think that combined with the government constantly inflating the dollar, you know, just amplifies it. And, you know, it wasn't like banks never existed. It's not like they didn't, you know, make loans like this for a long time, but the cycle was much faster and it was much more balanced. You wouldn't have these, this is like a century long bubble we're in now, where the government just keeps printing money and certain assets become overvalued, and people as a whole end up suffering because of that. They're not able to afford the things that they want anymore or that they need, because a lot of other people who are just, you know, doing the best thing that they can do, looking out for themselves and investing in them, which is, you know, fine given the system that we've been put in, but the system is not ideal. And I think because of that, it has a lot of, you know, bad effects on the economy as a whole.
Fully agreed. And again, I think this entire decentralized financial system was created because, you know, Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever he is, saw this, and there is meaningful amount of adoption. It's not, you know, as big as, you know, what we as the ecosystem people would like, but at least it's been recognized. If you actually watch Bloomberg or look at the New York Times webpage, there's always something crypto on there now, right? And 5 years ago, that wasn't the case. So I think, you know, this system here will only grow, and hopefully we'll see that, you know, some of the things that we're complaining about now change in our lifetimes. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think it'll happen eventually, one way or another.
Exactly. So I want to change gears and go back to Dexalot. Can you tell us a little bit about how you found Dexalot and what drove you to Dexalot as something you're paying attention to? You know, would be amazing for us to hear it from a community member rather than me talking to myself all the time.
Sure. Man, I can't remember exactly when I first heard about Dexalot. I think it was over a year ago, though. I heard about it, and I was looking into projects building on Avalanche. I have a lot of faith in the consensus algorithm that Avalanche uses, and the I would say strategy of using subnets to scale horizontally instead of trying to put everything on a single chain, like you see with most of the other competitors right now. And I came across Dexalot, and I kind of put it under the couch cushions for a while, I guess. You know, there's so many apps, new apps, and decentralized apps that you can't focus on all of them. And you need to wait until they prove themselves before you start to use them and get it, start to make up your own opinion about them. And Dexalot was one of those for me. Like I saw it and I was like, okay, cool. I can't wait to use it when it comes out, but is it going to come out? And then this February, you guys launched. And I was like, oh, wow, they're actually, I can use this. I'm going to go check it out and try to use it. This is the first thing I've seen where I'm actually, interested in using the subnet infrastructure for something. And I started putting orders in and trading, and it made a lot of sense. And the fact that this is all on chain is a huge game changer because a lot of people are tired of centralized exchanges getting hacked or doing shady stuff. Like FTX is a perfect example of like why you don't want to keep your money on exchanges. And so using Dexalot for the first time, I thought it was really cool and thought, I should, they've got a reward system going. I should try and earn some, try to interact with it, try to be more involved with the community. And I tried it out with Hummingbot at first, and it was interesting. It was my first time doing anything like this, interacting with smart contracts like this. And it was, it was kind of fun. It was just nice to be a part of something on chain that, was bigger than myself, like not trying to just trade for money or, trade tokens with the sole purpose of getting money. I think Dexalot was something where I felt like I could help and I could do something for the community that, would help everyone. And it feels good. I like that. And there's still profit involved, of course, assuming Dexalot takes off, which is great. But me being involved the way I am has a lot more to do with the community.
And you started with Hummingbot, so essentially you took part in the DIP program. And how has that journey been? Like, first of all, are you still like market making and still operating in the exchange? And how did that journey go for you?
Of course. So I've started with Hummingbot, and Hummingbot was an interesting experience. I'd never used anything quite like that, where they have a user interface. So you can like launch it on a remote server and then interact with it through a user interface to make orders on exchanges like Dexalot. And when I was first using it, it was a little bit confusing to me because I'd never used something like that before. I've used remote servers and had scripts running, but never with a user interface and not anything that ever interacted with smart contracts before. So that was pretty interesting. And I did that for a couple months, I think, and started, putting some real money in there to make markets on Dexalot. And there are it was a great experience, I'll say that, but there were some restrictions that made it not ideal for market making. Specifically, you couldn't have more than a couple of orders on each pair without it having some problems. Like if I wanted to have 3 orders on the bid side and the ask side at the same time on a single market, it was going to have trouble doing that. If occasionally there would be errors that Hummingbot didn't know how to handle. So that was also a pain in the butt. I actually made a pull request to them to try and fix some of them, but I decided that it would have been much more efficient just to make my own bot. And so that's what I did. I made my own market maker bot, which on this show today, I'm announcing for you guys that I'm making it open source. So anyone who wants to can use my market maker bot on GitHub, and you can fork it and do whatever you want with it. And this will enable you, if you want to market make on Dexalot, to place as many as 10 orders or more on the bid side and ask side of each market. And this is going to be a big, I think it's going to lower the barrier of entry for market making on Dexalot. And I want to see people, take that step into being more involved with the exchange. I want it to be accessible for more people, because then we can really have a decentralized exchange.
Alpha Horn, let's go. We're not hearing it, Jimmy. Technical problems.
Oh, we can't hear you, Jimmy.
Oh, you're on mute somehow.
Oh my God, sorry.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
There we go. It was sounding the whole time. I wanted to let you do your announcement, man. I didn't want to mess anything up. You know.
Yeah. Needless to say, first of all, we truly appreciate it.
Seriously.
Like the original intention with the bots that the team created and open sourced was literally this. We wanted, some of our folks in the community to pick it up, add additional information, additional capabilities to it, and then improve. And, like the goal here, like obviously when you create a central limit order book, managing liquidity is harder than just pressing a button and putting your money into, an LP pool. The advantage is if you actually manage it, you're not going to lose money to something like impermanent loss versus on the other side you will, right? And, to combat that, we had originally created the functionality that would allow people to pick up and create a bot. Hummingbot as a partner did that as well. And, you're our second partner effectively who is, giving this capability to the end users. And and correct me if I'm wrong, you're using your own bot for this market making. Basically, you gave people the bot that you have been using for yourself, right?
Everything that I'm using right now is available to you guys through the GitHub repository.
Real community championship looks like. Everybody.
You're also getting the price feeds. I have a separate repository that I added that I've linked to where you can get the price feeds all set up for you, and they'll serve it on a local port. You can have that on a separate server if you want to. I don't think it's necessary though. You can have everything running on your own computer if you want to. So that'll get the prices from Binance, from Kraken, from Paraswap, and even from a Forex data site called, I can't even remember what it's called. It's like EOD or something. Anyways, that'll get the euro price. So you can even get the live Forex price for the euro and trade the markets for that too if you want, since you have the Euro C USDC market on Dexalot. And I've noticed that it's very inefficient, by the way. There's a lot of money to be made there if you want to. Like for some reason, the Euro C markets on Avalanche do not keep up with the actual Forex prices. So if you start to make the markets for them, you'll be competing with me, but you can do it too.
I mean, look, the reality is this, right? The pie is pretty big. The markets are not quite deep yet, particularly in Web3. And the more liquidity, the more activity it will create, and the more people it will bring, and we'll have more efficient markets. And again, we appreciate what you said. You are basically giving people an automated market making capability to make markets without impermanent loss. I don't know what else to say. I have seen the README. We're definitely going to share the link. Guys, go check it out. See how that goes for you. And this is what Beast is using to be part of DIP. And so can you now. And I know there's been a lot of talks on the Telegram rooms as well. Oh, I read the market maker related Medium posts. I don't know how to start. We have a community member who actually put together a repo for you to pick up and use.
Boom.
Yes. And the README, I've been working on that the last couple of days. I don't know if it'll be as easy for everyone to read as it makes sense to me. I don't know. I'm a little bit autistic and stuff, but the point being that
who isn't, man?
It's supposed to be as easy to pick up as possible. So you only have to, so once you're in your build environment, which hopefully is Linux, and you can use git clone the repository and then npm install, or rather, actually, I think it's yarn install. And you'll be able to run it just like that. And I'm trying to make it as streamlined as possible so that you can get started without too many speed bumps.
Here's the other thing I'm going to say, by the way. I mean, open sourcing alpha like this is a rare occurrence. Yeah. Anybody out here watching this video and that's going to use the bot, make sure you thank Beast, number one. Seriously. Number two, if you have improvements, send him a PR, right?
Oh, totally.
Send the PR to the repo. Let's get this improved if we can. Why not, right?
Yes, I do want to emphasize that it is a work in progress. This is what I use. I don't want to take responsibility for you guys using it. So you're going to be responsible for yourselves and your own funds. If you see something that you think could be better or that you want to fix, and like I said, it's a work in progress, so it can be better, definitely. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it, or if you want to make a pull request to build on it, I'd be happy to try and integrate whatever you guys make.
Awesome, man.
There you have it, folks.
This is just speaking to the power of the Avalanche and Dexalot community here, right? I mean, chat's been going nuts. Denny Trubato said it best, I think. He is an angel disguised as a beast. You are Angel-Lorion today, sir.
Thank you, guys.
The chat. Love it. Brad McFall says unbelievable. Well, believe it, Brad, because you're gonna be able to use it yourself.
Brad is gonna dig into this.
Brad is gonna
heat it up. Yeah, he's gonna figure it out. And what we were thinking on our side is, now that you made this public, maybe we can do a little bit more help here. Try to extend, answer questions, all that good stuff. So guys, go use it. Go give it a try. Let us know.
And you know what? I'm going to drop this one in the chat too, guys. If you missed Firestorm's presentation from last week, this man broke out the Microsoft Paint app. He had the charts going. So check out that X post or tweet, as we like to call it in my house. Go check that out. It's a 10-minute presentation, okay? You're going to be, he's dropping science on you guys. And let's review. Our friend Beastlorion basically came on the show today to say, help me help you. You know what I mean? So help him help you. Go use it. Let everyone know what you think. This is an amazing day on the show, I got to say.
Thank you, guys.
I am pulling up the link. I'm going to share the link also.
Go for it.
I'm going to give it to our producer so that we can put it on the screen.
Yeah. Please do.
Just so that we have it available.
Yes.
And the README actually describes what you need to do pretty well. Again, if you read it, you are actually you have questions or you want to improve something in the README even. Send the pull requests. Everything can be improved over time, and we can definitely make it better. And if our prices are this good already, if you take part just like Beast, we'll get better. We'll capture more of the market share.
Yeah, and so in my mind, the way this is going to work with Dexalot here, and I figured this out a few months ago, maybe even like 5 months ago, I don't know. And I've been trying to tell you guys on Twitter all about it, but it seems like it's kind of hard to get things to sink in. Is that if you look at the prices on SimpleSwap that are trading through the Dexalot pools, you're able to get a tighter spread a lot of the time than you are able to even on ParaSwap, which aggregates all of the competitors. So we're talking about getting better prices than all of the competitors most of the time. And once it gets hooked up, once SimpleSwap gets hooked up to these aggregators, because it has the better rates, most of the orders, most of the swaps people are going to do on these aggregators are going to go through Dexalot. And a lot of the fees that are going to the competitors right now, like Trader Joe, like Pangolin, like there's probably a few more competitors out there, but those are the big ones. Those fees are going to go down. And I love those projects. I do. I actually been a big supporter of those projects for a couple of years now, but this is the future and we can't slow down and we just need to keep pushing forward. So once this happens, once the volume starts flowing through Dexalot, the potential for profitable market making is going to go up on Dexalot. Liquidity rewards are going to go up on Dexalot. And also they're going to go down on the competitors because they don't have the best rates anymore. And so what's likely to happen is the liquidity is going to leave those exchanges and they're going to get even less of the market share over time. And those liquidity providers are going to be incentivized to come over to Dexalot if they want to continue to provide liquidity. And part of the reason I'm giving this market maker up for the community is when this happens, which I'm hoping will be very soon, we want to make it as easy as possible for market makers and liquidity providers to come to Dexalot to create a high liquidity environment on chain so that people can trade and swap with the best prices comparable to what they would get on a centralized exchange, but without having to move their funds to the centralized exchange. So let's just imagine you're going to swap on chain. You're going to get similar quality price and rates for high liquidity that as you would on a centralized exchange, and you won't have to take on the risk of putting your money on the centralized exchange.
I'm going to add only one thing. Like, that was perfectly described. And it's like, here, myself, but no, just kidding. Like, the big thing that is also going to occur, this is not just a single chain phenomenon, right? The architecture that we created is going to allow us to provide the liquidity that you would be providing on our subnet to the other blockchains as well, right? One of the things following the aggregator integration is that we're going to go cross-chain. There are a lot of people in Ethereum specifically that would enjoy low fees and better prices, right? So, you know, everything is linked together, guys. Now you have another way, and presumably a much easier way, to actually launch a bot. Do it so that we can grow together. That's all I'm going to say.
Help us help you.
Help us help you.
There it is.
There it is. Yes.
Beast, this has been amazing, man. Like, thank you so much for joining the show today, and thank you for unleashing your bot on the community, man. This is like such a huge day for the show that we've combined, you know, what we've been doing here in Dexalot with something one of our community members has been doing. It's just so cool, man. So we can't thank you enough, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. It was my pleasure, and I honestly had a lot of fun doing it. This is my first time like really interacting with smart contracts on chain in an automated way. And so like, I mean, I made thousands of transactions manually, but automated, it's a whole nother level, especially with the throughput on Dexalot subnet. So I probably processed like, I don't know, at least 500,000 transactions just on Dexalot. It's probably much more than that. I would have to go look. Maybe it's more like 1 million or something. But just the difference between like manually processing transactions and then doing it in an automated way on Dexalot, where it can take that many transactions and it doesn't cost a ton of money. So that's the other thing, is like every transaction costs much less than a cent. I think it's like 1/10 of a cent or something like that, which may not always be the case as more people start using it, but it allows you to move your orders around in a way that minimizes risk for yourself as a market maker, and allows you to provide your liquidity at the same time in a way that gives the most access and depth to people who want to swap. So it's like the best of both worlds.
Absolutely.
This guy Dexalots.
Yes, he definitely does. And today has been a big day. Like, I think Gun Sirar just retweeted one of your posts about Paladin and Stars Arena. I don't know if you saw that. You know, it just came through my notifications, just so you know. You're getting a lot of spotlight.
Beast, you're blowing up, man.
Thanks, guys. You know, I'm having a lot of fun on here with you guys. It's always a fun time in the CLOB.
Hell yeah, man. Let me tell you guys, Beast has been in our chat because he knows the deal. Because let me get you guys up to speed. If this is your first time joining us, if you don't watch in the CLOB a lot, we have alpha every single week here. This isn't like, hey, we get together and just kind of shoot the shit and whatever, you know. No, we have AMAs where there's alpha from people in the Avalanche ecosystem and beyond, and there's tons of Dexalot alpha in like every show, right? I mean, you heard it here today. So Beast has been riding with us. He knows the deal. If you want the alpha like Beast has, you got to get in the chat every week. So that's just how it works. But Beast, before we let you go, man, we're about to run over our time a little bit, but before we let you go, you know I got to get a song request from you, bro. Do you have a song that you? Yeah,
you know, I was thinking about this. It was the last thing. I was like, shit, I didn't remember to pick a song. I got to figure it out. I got 5 minutes before we go on. What am I going to choose? I was trying to find something that would be hype, right? So I'm going to go with Gas, Gas, Gas by Manuel. Do you know that one?
I don't know if wait, Gas, Gas, Gas by who?
Manuel, I think is what it's
Manuel.
called.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. I don't know if I have it in my library. Production is going to hook me up with it, and we're gonna gas it up.
Okay,
and
awesome.
I'm gonna do a mix between that and gas pedal. We'll do.
Okay, great.
We'll do a throwback.
Let's go.
Totally was not pun intended, but the pun is good, so we'll keep it.
It's perfect, man. It's perfect.
We
you're
do
on
a
topic.
lot of games with the word gas, and let that be my announcement or alpha drop of an alpha drop in the future. I'm just gonna say.
Do you want to say that again? Because I missed it.
I'll let the producer, John, cut it. I'm not going to repeat it.
You got to watch the VOD if you want.
The
to.
word gas is valuable for some stuff that we're going to do in the future. There you go. JD Ackerman got it.
Yeah, see, he knows. He knows. Yeah, you guys are getting crazy over here, man. This show is crazy. All right, let's see. Production, how we doing? Are we gonna get the gas for your boy? Hold on. Yeah, he already got it. Look at this guy. He's a super producer, man. This guy can't be stopped. Well, chat, I just want to thank our guest today, Beastlorion. You can find him in the tweets. And when Stars Arena is back up, we're all very excited for the arena to come back so we can go hang out and read each other's posts and have a good time. But Beast, this has been awesome, man. We can't thank you enough for joining us today and for dropping your market making bot on the community, man. This is amazing. So thank you, sir.
Thank you guys for having me on. It's been a blast. And maybe we can do this again sometime.
I was just going to say, we'd love to do it again. So keep your calendar open for us, all right?
Absolutely.
My man.
We'll see you next time, man. Peace.
We'll see you soon, man. Take care, Beast.